I think it makes sense because that is the precedent. It's not a legal precedent, obviously. It's a political precedent rather than a legal precedent, which I think is an important distinction. That is the precedent. Alex Salmond won a majority in 2011. He went to Westminster and said, can we please have a referendum? Westminster said, yeah, that sounds fair enough. On you go. So from that
Wasn't
point
that
of view...
simple, by the way? Can I just say?
I think it was. I mean, they didn't even have anybody... I mean,
sophisticated political strategies deployed.
To be fair, they didn't have much in the way of good advice at that point behind the scenes at the SNP. So it was
bloody work, though, didn't it?
But yeah, look, there is precedent now for that, and that's so. I think from that point of view, it makes sense. I also think there is, in my view, a democratic legitimacy in that. As I've said before, I actually think there should have been a referendum after 2021. I think it was very clear that that was the mandate on which both the SNP and the Greens were elected, and between them they got a majority. This would obviously be clearer in that and there was a little bit of wobbling on this, incidentally, over the last couple of weeks. But that's been clarified at conference that they are not talking about an SNP plus Green majority. It's clearly, very clearly, an SNP only majority. And I think that, frankly, I happen to agree with John Swinney that really, if the SNP win a majority on this very clear mandate that nobody can argue with, and they are denied a referendum, then you have to start to ask questions about the voluntary nature of the union. So, I mean, I think he's right about that. That's a different question, by the way, as to what will actually happen. I, as I said before, I don't think this really is a strategy necessarily for this year, next year's election. I think this strategy very clearly has Nigel Farage and 2031 in mind, but that's a slightly different point.